What is up, everybody, and welcome to Best Ball Live, brought to you by DraftKings. I'm your host, Connor Allen from 44. Join me today, an old friend, John Daigle from Establish the Run. What's up, man? We were together last night after the Cubs game, but, obviously no better time to do a best ball draft. We're sitting here middle of June. How have you been?
Doing well. We've never recorded together, so this will be interesting. Just joking, obviously. And yes, last night at the Cubs game with Evan Silva himself, had a good time. Both escaped at a reasonable hour towards the end of the day to get our day started today. So excited to draft with you. We discussed it a little bit last night as well.
Yeah, I feel good today. I don't know, I feel great, but which is a rare occurrence if I'm hanging out with you two. So thankfully in good shape to do a DraftKings best ball draft. Massive contest, 15 million in prizes, including 2 million to first place. Key difference here between DraftKings and other sites: full PPR, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. 20 rounds, not 18. So, and also this is a best ball team. So we draft the team, don't have to touch it. So it's, perfect thing to do. Hop on a stream and do that. So let me hop in a draft here, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what pick we get, and go from there.
We'll discuss all the nuances and differences between the sites, but in particular, the best strategy, what I believe right now is at DraftKings as we go along here.
Yeah, no, 100%. And for anyone looking to hop in the streets, DraftKings has like an insane offer for all customers. Draft one, get one. So enter a lineup in the $15 million best ball contest for just $20, and you'll score another best ball ticket to play for free for a share of $15 million, giving you a second shot to win. So, again, if you like what we're doing here, hop in the streets, play an entry, you'll get another one. So it's a pretty solid offer here from DraftKings. We were talking about last night, though. I think most of my action this year is going to be on DraftKings just because the field's softer, the prize pool is great. And those 19th, 20 round picks matter. And we know those guys, and I'm not sure that everyone does in the pool.
Yeah, there's a place for everyone in this industry and every site. So I'm sure some people are enjoying other spots, but as we discussed, as you just mentioned, DraftKings right now, in my opinion, is the softest spot, the best spot to draft. Also because a lot of people are still weighing a lot more correlation and theories, and that is usually right in half PPR. But PPR, it drags us a lot closer to not having to worry about Week 17, for example, because those points will naturally catch us up. Even the 300-yard bonus for quarterbacks makes it easier, which is why, like, at Establish the Run, we'll talk about throughout the draft, we're stressing 3 quarterback builds. Even if you go like Jalen Hurts with the last couple of rounds, I'm not leaving without Tyler Shuck or Jackson Dart just to get that third quarterback. It is June. Jack Miller has done some research, as I'm sure you have at 4 for 4, and that the highest advance rates go to August teams historically in these big tournaments. I think it's because ADP is most accurate then, or at least the knowledgeable. That's the most information we have at that time. So right now I'm still not pretending. I am ignorant. Thus, I am padding for injuries in June and just trying not to luck box my way into fragile builds at this time.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Shout out D-Bro here is in the chat. He said, good afternoon. Only drafting in DK. Love to see that. And then he said, so when he came on here, the 3683, the missionary build, that's what he calls it, which I thought was hilarious. But, I'm finding a lot of teams kind of built like that so far.
And that's what I'm typically doing. Usually starting the first 6 rounds, I have 4 or 5 receivers on DK. It depends if you're in the back of the first round, we'll see what pick we get here. It depends on which running backs fall there, but usually that's the tier you're looking at with, if you're lucky, Christian McCaffrey. Most of the time not, though, but Derrick Henry, Devon Achane, those group of guys. And so in that case, I may even skip on that tier of players, go 2 running backs or 2 wide receivers back to back, and then cross my fingers, Chase Brown or someone else comes back to me. Otherwise, it's just straight 0 RB with the nastiest looking 6 to 8 RB room you've ever seen on DraftKings, again, in particular.
Yeah, and there's some good guys. I'm sure we'll talk about it later. There's some good players in the middle to late rounds that can catch passes, which will obviously just help your floor. And again, you can I think, Austin Eckler is a great example. I don't know if he's going to be any good. I don't know. I think he'll play a decent amount, but he'll probably catch a couple passes a game and, give you at least a reasonable floor. And if he scores 1 touchdown or has 1 long run or catch, he probably is pretty solid there and will probably score for your team in a full 0 RB build. But before the draft fills here, it looks like it's almost there. Do you prefer to draft from the back or the front right now so far in early drafts? or middle, I guess. I have to give that as an option too.
The front still objectively has the best players. On the front on DraftKings, it's still harder because it's so running back heavy. It's closer to home league ADP, much more than other sites. And so it's harder to nuke the Bengals offense if you were to start Jamar Chase, for example. That's why the middle and the end is fun, because you won't have a chance of Saquon Barkley, but you can get all of the rest of the Eagles: Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and just tack on Will Shipley again if it's a 0 RB or hero RB build. Also, the Dolphins offense, you can nuke them with or without Devon Achane, just because Tyreek Hill typically drops because running backs are surged on DraftKings in the first couple rounds. So I still think the front is the best, but like when someone picks up running for the first time and then makes it their entire personality, I feel like Christian McCaffrey 112 is going to be my entire offseason personality. It's like the one person, and what could go wrong, by the way, with Christian McCaffrey?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the one player I want to build my entire identity around in the 2025 offseason, just because I feel like we've never had this great of a discount for no reason at all. Like, yes, of course, he was injured last year, but we are clear of all those circumstances, including with the entire 49ers offense. And so we get Christian McCaffrey back at full strength with everyone else. It just seems like a great time to pounce.
So, yeah, I totally agree. For one, I think that the upside far outweighs the risk. And it's like a rare scenario where we get a guy who could lead all running backs in PPR points by multiple points, as he has in the past. If he's healthy, if the Niners bounce back, easiest strength of schedule. I might talk about that every week on the show, and I'm okay with that because I think it's a good decision. I think that he should probably be in the 106 range-ish. And he's going, again, back half of the first. I've seen him go in the second in some drafts early on. That's not really happening very much anymore, but we are pick 111. So, I mean, he's in play if he's there. I can't imagine he's going to be there, especially if anyone from the show joined the draft here as we were waiting, but it's definitely an option.
CMC also, his only 2 full seasons so far under Shanahan was the RB1 and RB2 in points per game those 2 full years. Last year, even injured, hampered, clearly wasn't the same player as a receiver especially. Came back, played 2 games with Brock Purdy, out-touched Jordan Mason 43-2 in those games. You have to remember Kyle Shanahan, or 42-3, I should say. Kyle Shanahan does not care about running CMC into his grave. Like, if CMC is available, he will use that man like a Will Fuller, for example, until his dying day. So as long as I can get these 21-point RB1 games for 10 to 12 weeks, I will happily take them regardless if CMC misses a month, because Shanahan runs them into the ground.
Yeah, he talked, I think, the last couple of years, too, even prior to his injury, was like, oh, we should probably give Christian McCaffrey less touches.
Yeah.
Then he just never did. Like, they're like, oh, we should maybe work in Elijah Mitchell more. And then Christian McCaffrey had 90% of the touches, 95% of the touches. So I refuse to believe it until it happens. So, yeah, I'm very much in on him. Anyone else you like here at the back half? I mean, CMC looks like ADP is 8th now at this point, so he's getting up there a little bit. Still a chance we get him, but are you worried about the Amon-Ra injury at all? Neighbors injury? And then we obviously have Derrick Henry, Nico Collins, all in that range. I think we're squarely in play to land.
Not too worried about those injuries this time of the year, but because, as we talked about, what DraftKings allows us to do when I'm doing these best ball drafts at the back end, if CMC's not there, I'll just forego typically that next tier running backs. And I love Genty, Achane, don't mind them at all. But because, again, full PPR site, we have a couple flexes that wide receivers can also sneak into with those full points per reception. And so I'll just double tap the back end of these wide receivers. It's kind of awesome because it is correct. I just did the late round perspective show with our friend JJ Zachariason this morning. It'll be out on Friday afternoon. And we were talking about it because wide receivers this year, the ADP is correct. But in being correct, it still leaves your opportunity to double tap 2 of Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown in the back end, and then go hero or 0 RB. And it's like how rare is that opportunity? So drafts are really fun no matter your position this year.
So we are not getting Christian McCaffrey. He went 102. We are on the clock. We can get Ashton Genty if we wanted it at 11. We could go double tap wide out, like you said. Neighbors, Nico, Brian Thomas, Ladd, all still on the board.
Neighbors or Nico? I'm fine going Nico here.
Okay, cool. Let's go Nico.
Yeah. Just because we're starting to set up late round stacks. CJ Stroud is one of those guys. He was drafted as the QB5 in ADP last year, and correctly. If you go back and look at my quarterback tiers, I was yelling. I stole Rich Rebar's brand for a moment, and surging ADP for quarterbacks who don't run, and that's always like a scary and most of the time wrong thing to do. CJ Stroud obviously fell out of the top 24 quarterbacks last year because he doesn't run the ball. We got to double tap Brian Thomas here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is
Let's have some fun.
Six start. Nico, Brian Thomas, alphas only, right?
Regardless of what happens the rest of the draft, this is one you put on Twitter because it looks sexy. You don't want sound good teams on Twitter because they don't make noise. This is already fun.
Yeah. And let's go back here to the first round. I think there's some interesting picks. So first off, Christian McCaffrey 102. That might be the highest I've ever seen him picked in a draft. I don't think I haven't seen him go 101. So I've seen him go 105, 106. 102 is shocking, as we were talking him up earlier. I don't think I would take him there. I like Christian McCaffrey. I don't think I would take him there, to be honest. I'm more of a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, then Saquon, then Bijan. Then I think he's kind of in that range, in my opinion. But that's above market. So
the way you handle these early drafts is McCaffrey's ADP it's like a 4 or 5 pick margin. So you just take them when you have that window because there are greater odds you'll still end up with more McCaffrey than you will Jamar Chase or Saquon Barkley because you have to have a top 2 pick to get those guys. So even if Christian McCaffrey were to score Barkley, you're going to end up with less Barkley because you have to draw the randomizer 101 or 102. So you just take those players and suck it up. I'll live to see another draft where I take McCaffrey at the end.
We're also getting a little early Terry McLaurin here and Derrick Henry from the same guy. Derrick Henry on a 108. He's normally going back after the first round. Terry McLaurin usually going end second, early third, going 205 here. So, I mean, do you think this guy's just on an island or is he just picking his favorite players? What do we think MK76 is doing here?
I mean, Terry McLaurin is one of the easiest fades in 2025 fantasy football. That's a pretty egregious selection over AJ Brown. AJ Brown was one of 2 players last year, and this is why we look at rate stats, not just raw counting stats, because the Eagles' passing volume wasn't necessarily there all the time. But AJ Brown was one of only 2 players with Jamar Chase to see at least 31% of his team's targets. AJ Brown dipped below a 26% target share in only 2 games all year. All he did was still be not the 1A to Devonta Smith's 1B. AJ Brown was still in a tier of his own ahead of Devonta Smith. He's a guy that I want to get higher. You just can't because, again, the back end of the first round with wide receivers is so good. There's nowhere else to push A.J. Brown. Terry McLaurin's an easy one to leave out. Touchdown regression based on targets, not to mention if you want to bake in the fact the holdout's probably coming and that he's not practicing with the team right now, but just solely based on touchdown regression, that's an easy one to avoid.
Yeah, I think I've clicked A.J. Brown, McConkey, Rice, Garrett Wilson, Bucky Irving, all over McLaurin. I think that's kind of where I would start to consider him, which again puts him in the early mid third round. Rashee Rice climbing all the way up to 210. He was kind of like a early to mid third round pick for the last month or so. Now all the way up to the second round, obviously, because he's healthy, he looks good, not supposed to face a suspension. Are you in on Rice at his inflated price, or are you a little bit worried just because, I mean, there's a lot of factors. Xavier Worthy played really well down the stretch last year. Travis Kelce still exists, I mean, to some extent, but,
Worthy's route tree doesn't overlap with Rashee Rice's. We've also seen, if you go back till right after the Chiefs bye in 2023, so Rice's rookie season, through those 3 games last year, he was the wide receiver 13 in points per game. So we're getting to the point now in his ADP in the mid-second to where there's not even a discount baked in. You're just paying and hoping he's at full strength because that's where he would go if he was at full strength. So anywhere in the third round, even early, definitely. I want to tack him on. I still think he's shown us that he's the guy, similar to Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. Jennings showed us he is the guy well ahead of Pearsall, although I will still draft a lot of Pearsall. I think Rashee Rice has shown us he is that guy well ahead of Xavier Worthy. But again, they didn't play together since Worthy wasn't a starter at that time last year. Had those couple of touchdowns on opening primetime Thursday Night Football, but then really faded away into the second half of the season.
Totally. No, I definitely agree there. Looks like we're about to be on the clock here. Devontae Adams stands out to me. Lamar Jackson is still available. Which is a couple picks past ADP. Any leans here? I think you can go a lot of different directions.
I think we could go Kittle.
I was hoping he would last to the fourth. I really like Kittle this year.
Should we go Devontae?
I think Devontae and then try and get Kittle. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Just because he's a little bit further down, we just need to survive Michael Rossi over here. Let's hear it. Genty Neighbors. Let's see what he does.
I don't know what Rossi's setting up over here.
Lamar.
Okay. Lamar.
I mean, you can't go two elite onesies. All right, perfect.
No,
all right,
perfect. Okay.
So, all right, we'll grab Kittle here, right?
Yeah, let's go Kittle.
Sweet.
Again, a lot like
nasty start.
I also talked about this on the Friday show, so that everyone can check it out with JJ, that I'm going to just be naturally be higher on McBride and Kittle. I definitely want to try to leave every draft with McBride or Kittle and an elite tight end build. But because of the difference in ADP, Brock Bowers being a full round ahead of McBride, I feel like I'm going to have very little Bowers, and that could be wrong by me. Like, he's a great player. He's going to be great. There's no reason to think regression is incoming. But again, if you're giving me a full round based on Trey McBride, who led his position, including with Bowers, in route participation and target share, like all the counting stats, all the rate stats were better for McBride. He just didn't score touchdowns. And we've seen players even like George Kittle who did not score touchdowns the first 3 or 4 years of their career. It can come in waves, like the dam just broke. And so if the dam breaks for McBride, it's someone you definitely want, especially in the third round. So I think I'll still be taking wide receivers over Bowers in the late first, early second, and then waiting on McBride and Kittle later on.
Yeah, because I mean, you're getting Kittle in the early fourth, late third even. I would have honestly probably considered him if we didn't think that we'd get him in the fourth. Like, the entire 49ers offense is basically banged up at this point. Ayuk's going to miss some time. Pearsall's already injured. Jennings is good, but he's not going to command the entire target share. Then you have George Kittle, who's, just an absolute stud. Again, we expect the 49ers to bounce back as well. Derek Brown keeps pointing out that he was the, PPR tight end 1 in points per game for a long time. So, Debro came on, made the case for George Kittle 2 weeks ago. We came on and selected him here. Like, I feel like it's a pretty easy selection here in the fourth round if you miss out on to the other tight ends. And we have some go for it. We have some really interesting builds here, though, that we need to talk about, too.
I was going to say, Kittle also led his position in yards per route run, and we've seen 4 career games with him and Brock Purdy on the field together without Deebo Samuel. They've only overlapped for 4 games, and Kittle had a 33% target share and averaged 14 fantasy points in those 4 games. Not saying that'll carry over with Jennings and Pearsall on the field full time, but it's a very encouraging spot Kittle's in. Again, only being depressed in ADP because everyone's sick of the 49ers shit from last year, even though it was all against their will. They were just injured.
Yep. All the 49ers are a discount. Just try and come away with at least 1 or 2 every draft has been my goal. But looking at these builds, so the one spot here, Jamar Chase then follows up with Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, like that turn. Then Kamara, James Conner, a good bit ahead of ADP there. And then we also have Ziggy 1998 here in the middle, kind of going the opposite approach as us. Gibbs, Taylor, Josh Allen in the 3rd round, Omari and Hampton in the 4th round, Chuba Hubbard in the 5th round, just straight. I'm not going to say this is a boomer team, but certainly unique. This is, full RB heavy.
Drafting the touch-dependent veterans in like their early 30s season ahead of ADP is certainly a decision to make, especially on a PPR site. It's certainly a decision.
Yep. We are up right now. George Pickens is still there. Kenneth Walker, Calvin Ridley, I think are all viable. Mixon, if you want volume, I don't know. Anything there?
I like Pickens or Ridley. I'd go probably Pickens ahead of Ridley.
I would too.
And we could start rounding out, if it gets to that point, a Cowboy stack without CeeDee Lamb is pretty easy to do because you can also tack on and like a 0 RB build Miles Sanders at the end.
Yeah, for sure. We also could go with Jennings here as well.
Oh, buddy, don't worry. I saw him. I wasn't going to say it out loud until he came to us.
Okay, yeah, we're on the clock here. So let's do it. Let's lock in Jennings,
this is 100% a 0 RB team. Yeah, let's just do it.
Yep. All right, cool. This is, again, best ball. We are just going to have to figure out running back later, which maybe we would start doing in the 7th, 8th round. But we have a Niners stack. We have 5 just absolute nasty wide receivers. I'd love to hear your thoughts on George Pickens because I'm excited about him as just like a volatile option. But the Cowboys are going to throw a bunch. Best quarterback play he's had. And I think he's just an awesome outside receiver. So, he's going to have some duds, but he's going to have some games where he goes 5 for 140 and 2 touchdowns.
It's similar to the Falcons receivers like Darnell Mooney, for example, last year, where it was pretty easy to zoom out and say, okay, he gets his targets downfield. Let's look at the accuracy of these players he's played with. Justin Fields, for example, one of the least accurate quarterbacks throwing downfield the past few years. And then Mooney went to Kirk Cousins, and it paid off, especially when you look at he was their starting wide receiver in 2 wide receiver sets. That's kind of what's happened, in my opinion, with George Pickens, is that if you look at Fantasy Points Data Suite, by the way, which is such a sweet tool I use for most of my research now.
Good.
But last year with George Pickens, with the Steelers, ranked 53rd in catchable target rate. Dallas's wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, for example, ranked 11th in catchable target rate. Their number 2, Brandon Cooks, was even 30th in catchable target rate. So like all the guys were better than George Pickens way down at the bottom. Dak Prescott, obviously one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the entire league. He's also Dak Prescott, just 1 year removed, like last year, career lows in touchdown rate and points per game. Take that year away, and in 2023, he was the QB5 in points per game and finished second in MVP voting behind Lamar Jackson. Like, we're not far away from that type of season from Dak and the Cowboys passing offense, now with Pickens entering the fold behind CeeDee Lamb and no competition. So, yeah, I like Dak and Pickens a lot this year.
Yeah, no, totally agree there. We got a very interesting pick here in the mid 6th round. Evan Ingram. I like Evan Ingram, but his ADP is like 100, 110. He went pick 68 here in this draft. Certainly an interesting choice here. And then at the turn, we got Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is fine there. Jordan Addison, we're going to see his ADP drop once he gets a suspension. Drew Davenport's been saying likely 1 to 3 games. So, I mean, Drew's been, as an actual lawyer and, also involved in the fantasy space, he's been pretty much money on most of these like ranges or whether guys going to get suspended.
And that's
or not,
okay.
so.
For best ball, we know if you're out like the first month, as long as it's not for a serious injury, that's when players come back and their ADPs get way too high. But for a suspension for the first month, like we don't care about the first month. That's when players are literally the healthiest they'll be all year. We can replicate that production easily. So if you want to take Jordan Addison at a discount, you should, because the suspension really doesn't matter as long as it's not an end of year best ball playoff suspension.
Yeah, totally. I think that this is kind of I guess it looks like Pacheco, Aaron Jones just went, Caleb Johnson went. I think we're kind of in an interesting zone here to potentially get a running back if we want. If we don't want,
we just keep, Pearsall probably comes back, right?
I would guess so. Let's see what the other guy, 50-50. I would say he probably comes back. I mean, we're looking at one more than us, then yeah, I would think he would come back. So I would say Pearsall with the second pick. Or we could do Pearsall with the first and then try and get Pollard or Robinson or something like that.
Star Pearsall, and let's look at quarterbacks really quick.
We don't need to go for Purdy until the next draft.
Okay, let's grab Pearsall right now.
Okay,
and let's figure this out.
Yeah, I think Pearsall would be good, and then I would like to have one running back that we can have guaranteed touches at this point.
Let's see click on running backs really quick. Let me see this room.
Oh, there goes Pollard. It's kind of ugly, to be honest.
Yeah. These are also guys like, I like Jalen Warren and Tyrone Tracy, but I also don't want to be ahead of ADP. If you maybe pick one, I'd say Jalen Warren.
Okay. We can star that. Anyone else here? We don't need. We don't want Kelsey. I don't want Cooper Kupp.
Nah, we don't need another tight end. I think we're good on tight end.
We have 6 wide receivers right now. I don't even know if we need another one, to be honest, but we could get another. We'll probably want one more. We could do Jaden Reed and then just never draft another receiver or something like that.
We can do Brandon Ayuk as well and then never draft another receiver.
Oh shit. All right, let's just go with we'll go with Jalen Warren.
That's fine.
Start.
It's not crazy. It's just a few picks ahead of ADP for no running back room. It's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, so yeah, we were pissing yellow there for the first half of the draft with a little bit of Kittle in there, and then now we're just going to need to probably draft 4 or 5 running backs in these next couple rounds here that have just some upside. I don't know. I think there's a lot of guys in that range that are going to get some touches and then some upside plays that we can make as well.
Yeah. Garrett in the chat also asks, do we correlate with week 15 or 17 or just 17? I am a only 17 guy. A lot can happen even ahead of week 17, but at least we can guarantee like the teams playing. Yes, we can guarantee the teams playing 15 through 17, but that's like predicting 3 games at the end of the year, let alone 1. That seems like an impossible task. So 1, I'm comfortable stacking and hoping for the best. I get the players right. 3, in my opinion, that's a wild thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. It's like, I think obviously week 17 correlation matters. Like if you're getting there, if you're getting there, you want to be the most correlated possible.
Yeah.
But I think that, getting there is obviously the most important and drafting the best team. So it's like, for me, it's more of like a tiebreaker down the road or something like that. It's like, it's not necessarily something that I try and map out well in advance, especially in a fast draft. It's just like, it's really tough. I know there's some good tools out there that help with that, but I don't think most are compatible with DraftKings. So I don't know if that's an edge or, I mean, so based on some of these teams, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak too early, but I think there's 2 or 3 teams in here that are basically just already dead. So we'll see how that goes.
Team 1. Let's speak early.
I hope that some of them are watching the show and we're just like, shitting on their teams. I mean, I think
they're shitting on our running backs. I mean, we're fine with it, but I mean, I've drafted some really bad running back rooms on DraftKings, so it's okay. This is gonna be another one of them. But also, our like 7 wide receivers are super, super strong.
Yeah, I think we need to probably try and snag Purdy here if we can. I mean,
Correct.
It looks like, 104. We have pick like, I think we have 107. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, it's going to be tight. We'll see if we land him. I don't know. That would be disappointing, but
one of the worst picks, by the way. Star both Purdy and Prescott. One of the worst picks right now just went off the board to the worst team in this room and Jared Goff. Like all you have to do, I always reference the Najee Harris season when he led the league in touches because it was so obvious you shouldn't have drafted him the next year because he finished as the RB9 in points per game despite leading the league in touches. When everything goes your way and you still don't matter, like you still don't separate yourself, that tells you like that's not anyone we should worry about. Jared Goff, again, everything went his way last, a career high in points per game, career high in touchdowns, and still just a QB9 in points per game. Something you can replicate his production with like Bryce Young's rushing in the last round, for example. So Jared Goff is just an easy one to not worry about at all. Let everyone else have him.
I don't know if I've seen everyone have a quarterback before the first 10 picks. All right, we're on the clock. We can snag Purdy here. So that would be perfect, I think.
Yep.
All right, we'll go Purdy. And then who do we want on the wrap here? I would say probably someone stood out.
Keon Coleman. That's I no one's ever been excited about Keon Coleman. I know, but he's our 7th. He's going to be our 7th wide receiver, and he does have. I talked about this with JJ too. He has like this unique archetype. Finished like 6th in his class last year among rookies in yards per route run, but he has this unique archetype to where the Bills can't find that anywhere. Not to mention like 19 yards per catch and. His best 2 target shares last year, oddly, came when he played with Amari Cooper before he got injured. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested in like Keon Coleman in these streets.
Well, we took him. I queued him up. I think that's probably our last wide receiver in this build. No, well, we'll see when we get there. But I would say we probably don't need another one. We probably need 2 tight ends only, and we'll probably go with 3 quarterbacks here. So we went Purdy and Coleman at the turn. We obviously have a massive Niners stack now. I mean, this is
baby. This is
a good spot to be in, yeah. And then Keon, I agree. I mean,
we're gonna tack on Garendo. We're gonna tack on Garendo to nuke this build too.
Oh yeah, for sure. That would be great. It's the anti-CMC build for sure. But I'm fine with that. That's a good spot to be. I also didn't really like this range of players for me is I'm drafting some Tyler Ward. I don't know if I'm drafting him in the last round of the pick there. I think Herbert is interesting as like a stack with, McConkey, Trey Harris, Quinn Johnson's going really late. And then Drake May, Kyle Williams stacks. I have a lot of, but
Drake May is Jaden Daniels of last year. Not saying he's going to finish the same, but it's just like so painfully obvious. I'm not even giving anyone credit, myself included, for it. It's like, yeah, this guy is a top 12 quarterback who's not being drafted as a top 12 quarterback. Pretty simple. Just like Jaden Daniels was every fantasy analyst's favorite pick last year. You just draft Drake May. Don't even overthink it. It's so obvious what's about to happen here with the rushing upside to counter any passing quarterback, not to mention improved offensive line, third easiest schedule according to Warren Sharp, as opposed to the 10th toughest schedule last year. Completely different play caller. Josh McDaniels has actually been extremely efficient in terms of EPA per play when play calling too. Disastrous head coach, but can still scheme it up with the best of them. So yeah, Drake May's a very obvious one.
Yep, agreed. Chris from the chat says, where does Goff start to make some sense, Daigle? Like, I mean, we see the board kind of play out here. Would you take him over Dak? Probably not, right?
No, absolutely not.
Would you take him over Purdy?
Absolutely not.
I think probably I don't think I would take him over Drake May even.
That's the issue is that Jared Goff projects out as the QB 16 to 18. So it's like, I cannot even consider him a fringe QB1. Like, again, when everything, the best dominoes possible fell for him last year, and he was still someone that we could replace his production. That's not a good thing.
I hate to say it. I think I would almost take Justin Herbert over him too.
Yeah, I'm curious about the Chargers this year because before their bye, they had the highest run play rate in the league. They showed us what they wanted to do. Then they came out afterwards and they couldn't run the ball because J.K. Dobbins was injured, and they had to then lean on Justin Herbert. So what do they do now with an emphasis on Amari and Hampton in the first round? I think they want to get back to, we're not drafting Javonte Williams.
I mean, we're 15 picks past ADP. I totally agree. I would never draft him, but I'm saying in this build, like he's
let's go CJ Stroud.
Oh yeah, okay. We need CJ Stroud anyways. But yeah, then there's some running backs here. I mean, Bashal Tutin's interesting. Jaden Blue, I think, is somewhat interesting. Yeah. I think one of those on the wrap would be interesting if we want to just skip Javonte. If are you in the never Javonte camp? I mean, this is like, I'm not like a flat exposure guy, but like, I mean, are you a never Javonte guy? Like,
I'm just why is Javonte 8 rounds ahead of Miles Sanders guy? That's what
that's fine. All right,
they're splitting reps in camp. Miles Sanders has had Miles Sanders had a better season more recently than Javonte Williams, actually. Miles Sanders is we're now just a couple years removed from him being how many touchdowns does he have with the Eagles? Was it 15, 14 that year? And they're splitting reps at camp with the first team offense. So I don't know. I don't understand the discrepancy in ADP. That's my argument.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I also think that Jaden Blue is viable. I think that Miles Sanders is viable. Like I don't know who's going to lead that team. All right, so we could pick Tuten or Blue here. I think both are fine options. Or I mean, if you want to do
I like Tuten. At least Tuten got better capital.
I agree. I think that some of the early training camp reports are not as good, obviously, but again, they spent high capital. Liam Cohen obviously made Bucky Irving mid-round star last year. Like, I still think they could trade Travis Etienne easily. I think that all the latest reports about Etienne being the RB1 is just so that they can like bolster his stock to trade him essentially. Like, I think that makes sense because if they're giving up on him, then they're not going to get anything for him. They're just people are like, all right, well, we'll give him a conditional 7th or something like that. Now maybe they get like a 6th. I think it's all just a play here. I don't think that Etienne's like a locked in starter. He was already losing a ton of work to Tank Bigsby last year. He kind of sucked. So I don't know. Maybe it's a fresh slate. I struggle with it though. I think that Tuten worst case is like satellite back plus in space and just being awesome. And best case can just be best case he's like this year's Bucky Irving.
Tuten is Isaac Garindo reincarnated. Like he's more. I believe he's more athletic. I believe he's the most athletic running back the combine has ever tested. Like he's a guy that when they put him on the ground, he's going to explode for 20 plus yards, basically every single touch. I don't know like how often he'll earn those opportunities, but this room needs something like that. Like we need Keaton Mitchells to luck into some usable scores on limited roles until their roles grow.
Yep, for sure. I think there were, 13th, 14th round, usually some interesting spots. Javonte Williams goes pick 136. I don't know. I don't think I've drafted him once, but he always just goes like way too high. And not even here, like here is probably where I consider taking him just because like there's some projectable touches early, but I just like, even then I could easily see him getting like 10 touches and then what's his name? Jaden Blue getting like 3 or 4 and then Miles Sanders getting like 7 to 8 to start. And then that's it, which is like a complete wasteland for fantasy, basically.
We're asking the same questions like we are for Isaiah Pacheco, who lost lost his role or became more of a timeshare because they were not explosive due to their injuries. The issue is that Javonte Williams' injury lingered over from the year prior, and he was one of the absolute worst running backs in the entire league in terms of efficiency and explosiveness. Does that change going on to Dallas? I really don't know, but I don't think there should be such a large discrepancy between their picks, he and Miles Sanders.
Yeah, no, it's
Ray Davis is like, we have to have him for this build. We have to.
Ray Davis. Again, I don't mind Austin Eckler. I think he's old as shit, but I think he's going to play a lot. Did we miss out on Grendo? Looks like I already went, huh?
He just went this round.
Yeah, he just went right before.
We'll still piece together. I'm not too worried about it. Rookie running backs fall further on DraftKings. There's not as much of a draft rookie fever. Also, because running back in the first 3 rounds are so surged up, then there are less room for people to take rookies running backs at the end of the draft.
Yeah, I think we might. I mean, this might be the most running backs I end up drafting in a single team ever, just because we just are going to have to hammer and pray.
I'm still open to definitely 3 QBs, 3 tight end. Again, that's typically what I do.
Yeah, I think we can go 2 tight ends here for what it's worth. I think we could do 2, just Kittle and 1 more. I mean, I don't know if that's crazy, but I like who would we take? Purdy, and then I mean CJ Stroud. I don't know if there's a great tight end to stack with there. I don't mind Goddard is a good buy low.
Goddard or Ferguson. I'll definitely happily take one of those guys. That's fine.
So here's what the board looks like right now. We are 2 picks away.
Goddard, Ferguson, just fine. Let's see what running backs are on there. Trey Benson is another one we can definitely grab.
I would take Bigsby, but we already took Tootin, so I don't think that makes sense.
No. Just because we need one to separate. We need to use all our bodies here. Yeah, we're still in a fine contingency range.
Yeah, just need a couple injuries and we're all right, or an injury basically. Dallas Goddard went, which is tough. That would have been nice. I think he still again has some upside. Oh, and then Ferguson goes. Okay.
Well, in that case, I say let's just go to Trey Benson. Do you prefer Eckler or Benson?
I mean, I would like one guy with some kind of floor, but
I'm good with Eckler. I'm comfortable with Eckler.
I would say Eckler, and then now we can just draft like guys that like Benson has like basically no floor, but his ceiling is way higher than Eckler's. Like obviously, if James Conner gets hurt or Benson just outplays him, like he's like a legit fringe RB 1-2. You know, like that's totally fine. But
totally.
Oh man, all right. Of course, we were just talking about. Okay, so anyone in this range stand out? This is tough.
Man, this is straight contingency.
I'm fine with Jalen Wright. He's like really early, but at least he has some juice, I think. Braylon Allen. I mean, or
Roschon or Jalen Wright. Pick one.
All right, let's go Jalen Wright. We can get Roschon after. Roschon's not until let's see here. Where is he at? Oh, he's right here. Okay, so we should be able to get him. Well, let's see. It's gonna be close. Yeah, he's like right in that range. So
we'll see.
I do like Roschon as well. Maybe we should have picked him. I thought he was further down, but all right. I mean, this is fun. This is totally okay. We got Warren, Tootin, Eckler, Wright. This is great.
Our 6 points from each player at running back the first month of the season won't matter because our wide receiver is going to dominate the flex.
Yeah, exactly. And then we just need, maybe not, an injury to Devin Achane or Tootin becomes Bucky Irving, and then we're cooking. Let's
look at these available tight ends, by the way.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's Freiermuth, Gesicki, Strange, Hunter Henry, Cade Otton. I think Juwan Johnson's a great late round target. I mean, we could go Dalton Schultz if we want to stack with Stroud. I don't know if I love that necessarily. But
if we go Schultz, we're probably going 3 tight ends.
Yeah. I mean, well, we're kind of in the range where we miss those middle tier tight ends where I normally would stick with 2. Yeah. We could do 3. I mean,
I still like 3.
Okay. So do you want to try and snag one next round? I don't mind Hunter Henry or Brendan Strange either. I mean, these guys are all kind of fine to me. I mean, I don't really have too much of a
Yep. Freiermuth, Strange, Henry, Juwan, even Gesicki. Like the splits are night and day with T. Higgins on the field, but we can bake that in because like that's a usable score if T. Higgins is out.
Right. There's also another thing we got to think about too is we don't have a third quarterback. We could try and do a stack of like a quarterback tight end.
That would be at this range. It'd be Tyler Shuck, Juwan Johnson,
or Rodgers and Freiermuth, basically.
No, Tyler Shuck, Juwan Johnson. We're never stacking Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man, that's rude. Let's hear it. Okay.
I know. I get it's. I mean, he's a living body. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, he'll be out there. He'll be out there 17 games.
Definitely be
well,
out there.
maybe. I mean, if he stays healthy, I guess. But all right.
What bet did Silva want us to make last night? Something on the Steelers. Like, was it winning the AFC?
Oh yeah, Steelers winning the AFC and making the Super Bowl. He said that they had a great American quarterback in Aaron
Oh
Rodgers.
yeah, he was joking. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was a real.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a real thing.
Forgot about that part. as they are 100% are going to be 9-point road underdogs on Wild Card Weekend, playing on Sunday morning, as they are every single year,
without a doubt. I guess we don't need any wide receivers. Like, there's some other guys that we could add if we needed wide receivers, which we could add one more, but I think we have QB, tight end, and running back are a little more pressing still here to close out the draft.
Okay, so yes, we have QB3, QB, like we have the Saints options for sure. Braylon Allen isn't a bad pick either.
Yeah, I don't mind him either.
Comes back.
We are up in 5 picks.
Like, I do like Breece Hall in that ahead of that Kyron Williams tier, Chuba Hubbard tier. I have Breece Hall in the same mix as Chase Brown and Josh Jacobs. But it's still a new regime, and we don't know how they'll use Breece Hall. Plus, the Jets are going to be one of the run-heaviest offenses in the entire league, and they can probably pull it off under Aaron Glenn because they have the pieces on defense, whereas the Raiders' defense is absolutely miserable. Like, they have Chip Kelly and Genty. I just don't know how they're actually going to competitively run the ball every game.
Yeah, I don't either. We just got someone took him though, so we're basically at a spot where we could reach for the Shug Johnson stack. We could go with one of the running backs.
How big of a reach is? Let's go Shipley right now.
Okay.
I love me some Shipley.
What, just Saquon contingent? I mean, he's definitely like a 0 without an injury, basically, right?
Yeah, there's
some late game options. Some late game. I mean,
I think so. There's late game. Like, there's talks, and maybe they do want to scale Saquon Barkley back to keep him healthy for the postseason. There's also this, like, the curse of 390 plus touches. The last time we were here, Josh Jacobs, like, that was an easy one. Obviously, had like his worst season ever the following year. Barkley handled the most touches since DeMarco Murray, so there's a chance he also just scales back because his bones are dust. We never know. Yeah, dude, like, we got Jarquez Hunter here too.
You want to take Jarquez? That's fine.
I want to reach on Jarquez. I don't even care.
All right, Jarquez Hunter. So you buying that maybe the Rams make a switch then at running back?
No. I'm buying that we need Jarquez Hunter. That's what I'm buying. This room needs the contingency option behind Kyron Williams.
It does.
It's, the longer you're in this industry, the more open you become every year to range of outcomes. And Kyron Williams is like the skeleton key. He's like the poster child for range of outcomes this year, because on one hand, he's led Sean McVay's backfield in touches and 30 consecutive starts. No one else has come for his job. At the same time, though, he was one of the least explosive running backs in the league last year, basically for his career. And more importantly, like, JJ just sent out an email blast a few days ago and mentioned about Sean McVay's backfield averaging, not like finishing, averaging the 31st target share to running backs. Like, Rams running backs don't get targets at all. And so what if either Blake Corum or Jarquez Hunter eat even into 10% of Kyron Williams' carry share? That's disastrous for a second or third round Kyron who's not explosive. So, like, we have multiple outs here for Hunter. Hunter also, by the way, I don't know if you're like dove into the weeds during prospect season, but like, he's sexy, man. Like,
he's kind of good.
He's a 650-pound squatter who, like, the college coaches had to stop him from squatting more. He's like Bruce Feldman's one of his freak athletes coming out. The dude is just like Garindo. He's just like a walking 10-yard play.
Yeah, it's good. We drafted 5 straight running backs to fill out our room. I mean, it's not my
It's a
favorite
fun
running
team.
back room, but it's okay.
I like this team.
It's fun. Like I think this is a fun ass team. The wide receivers are sick. Doesn't get much better than that. The quarterback room is fun. Kittle's great. I think we just got to finish it out here. It sucks that someone took Tyler Shugg early. Someone just took him.
You jerks. You couldn't leave us with Tyler Shugg, the most median quarterback of all time.
So, all right. So here's
Jackson Dart, dude.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, how many starts do you think Jackson Dart makes this year?
I bet he starts more games than Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Giants have the leagues. Oh, that's sexy. Yeah. both those guys are in my deep sleepers at ATR. That's
Love
fun.
that.
We don't need Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton would be a tack on if we needed him, though. Yeah, the Giants have the league's toughest schedule through week 7. Just the most murderous row of brutal opponents you could ever imagine. And Jackson Dart's already impressing at camp. I think they're going to be out of it so early. I know Discord, you took a bet on Brian Daigle, first coach fired, right? Or is that something we just discussed behind the scenes?
It was just something we discussed. But
okay.
we were talking about it last night because I talked about the Jets to have the worst record, but I talked about Daigle being one of the first coaches fired. And
I still don't think Dable's a bad coach, but like the setup and the organization.
Oh my God, who picked him? What the? You gotta be kidding me. Oh
now
you don't need a third quarterback. What a loser. All right, now we have no options. We're just 2 QBing it. I mean, let's like.
Oh no! I mean,
I'm shocked. This is actually like shocking. I've never seen this happen before.
It'd be last round Jalen Milroe would basically be what we're doing.
All right, I vote we
don't have to have 2
You want Miles Sanders? Let's do that instead. Fuck it. I mean, whatever.
Yes, I want Miles Sanders.
Right.
Raheem Mostert's also another one we're going to add to this room. Maybe this next pick.
Well, what round are we in here? This is, I think we have 2 more picks left. Oh, okay, yeah, we have 3 more picks left. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Raheem Mostert.
We need a tight end though. We need a second tight end.
Okay.
Theo Johnson. I mean, I know it's not stackable, but
yeah, is Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson are both off, right?
Everyone is gone. Yeah, literally Shadur Sanders, Flacco.
No, Sanders is not actually a player. He's a TikTok star. He's not a football player.
I would say Juwan Johnson.
Okay, let's go Juwan.
Or Jatavian Sanders. Let's do Jatavian Sanders. How about that?
Ooh, Jatavian Sanders is fun too. I like all 3 of those guys. That's fine.
All right. Yeah, they're all kind of the same. Well, Sanders and Theo might have more juice. I think what's his name has a higher floor. Juwan Johnson is a higher floor.
Juwan's playing with like a tight end minded offensive coach in Kellen Moore for the first time. Plus, dude, Juwan's contract. Have you seen it? It's crazy what they gave. Like it was 36 million and like 16 million guaranteed. It was insane.
Nuts. I also want to put a note out there. I don't think I've seen every startable quarterback go before the 18th round ever in a draft. I've done a decent amount of these.
I agree with you.
This is madness. Like we have, I mean, this guy who drafted Jaden Daniels and Dak Prescott. Oh, he's an ETR logo though, so I can't shit on him. That's he probably knows what he's doing.
And like I talked about at the beginning, if you go even with elite quarterback, I like to leave with Jackson Dart or one of those last guys. So that's something we're promoting at ETR is 3 QB builds on DraftKings at this time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
Except we are out. Like again, Jalen Milroe's the only one that makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean that would be it. Would be Milroe.
I'd rather just pad for running back at that point.
Okay, I mean Mostert. I think Taj
100%.
Brooks is somewhat interesting.
Sure.
That might be about it. I mean,
oh boy, it gets real. Oh, Jordan James. Jordan James is fun.
Yeah, I mean we don't need none of these guys are even going to get drafted. We only have two more rounds left.
Okay.
So
I do legitimately like Mostert. Just it's the stock market. 8th round ADP incorrectly last year, but now you can get him in 10 rounds later. Like just take him. The same thing for Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison had a month of usability in the last round last year after everybody incorrectly wanted him in the 6th round. Just play the stock market. You're on mute. Are you on mute? Can you hear me? No, can't hear you yet. Is it me? Is it my headphones? Oh, it's you? Okay. Just fix your mic. Everyone at 4 for 4, as I take over the show, remembers me yelling about Alexander Madison a few years ago, stressing everyone to stay away. He was nope, can't hear you.
Oh, that's why.
Oh,
Okay.
I got you. I got
You hear
you.
me now? Okay. Okay. Good. All right. We are 2 picks away. I think we go running back, tight end probably, but I don't know. I mean, wow,
I
this
like
tight end
Mostert.
room is nasty too. I mean, okay, Mostert, and then we go either a tight end with just like Cole Kmet, or we go with like
Wait, don't we have 3 tight ends? Or no, we have
we have
2.
two. We have
Yeah, we need a third one.
I mean, do we? I don't know. Harold Fannin.
Goodness gracious. Maybe we don't.
I would almost rather pick Jalen Milrow over these guys.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right, should we pick?
I mean, it
Let's
feels
get some
rough.
Milrow. Let's get some Milrow in our
All
lives.
right, fuck
Not
it.
often you get to draft Jalen Milrow. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I feel invigorated right now. That was crazy.
I'm not going to like cape and pretend like Milrow's going to provide points, but I will say, like, as we always see with these quarterback contracts, Sam Darnold's is structured as a 1-year deal. Sam Darnold won't be playing for Seattle in 2026, just the way they have his contract structured. So if we see Jalen Milrow start games, it would not be shocking, especially if we get like last 2 weeks Sam Darnold in a much worse environment in Seattle.
Yeah, no, I also am not I'm not convinced that Sam Darnold's like even really all that good. I think that he's been propped up the last couple of years by great offensive coordinators with obviously Kevin O'Connell. And then before that, he had some mount up duty with Kyle Shanahan. Like, I don't think that, like, we have a pretty large sample size of him being complete trash. And then now he's in a situation that's, I would say, not less than ideal. Line's not great. He loses DK Metcalf, you lose Tyler Lockett, and you bring in like a terrible Cooper Kupp. Like, I think Cooper Kupp's completely done.
He's playing outdoors every game as well.
Yeah,
like he was indoors last year. He's not playing with Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison has 19 touchdowns in his first 33 games. Like, Jordan Addison is a special second wide receiver. You don't have that. You have Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's it.
Yeah, which is tough. So, yeah, I mean, I think that we could easily see Milrow make some starts at some point, especially if the Seahawks aren't winning or, Donald's is playing poorly.
This is a fun, maybe not a good team. I don't know, but this is a fun team. This is how you're supposed to draft on DraftKings. I swear by that.
I'm going to screenshot it, and because I don't think I've ever seen a build like this. 3-8, 3-8-7-2. So 3 cute quarterbacks, 8 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. Wild draft. We just played what came to us. And so I don't hate our running back room in the end. We have a ton of contingent upside. We have a little bit of a floor with Eckler and Warren, I think. And then, tight end room is, Kittle, which is basically all we need. But then we ended up with, Jatavian Sanders as well in there. And so that's, great room there. And then Purdy, Stroud, and Jalen Milrow. I mean, that's what dreams are made of.
Start planning how to spend your $500K with me right now.
This is perfect. Well, this is a lot of fun. I think we should run back another draft, honestly, sometime soon. This is a good time.
I agree. The only thing I would say for this draft is probably in the 18th, 19th round, we should have pulled away and grabbed a third tight end.
Yeah.
But we also didn't know the bums in the back, like Jawan, Theo Johnson. Like, we didn't know they'd go so quickly like that. So
yeah, okay. I think, like hindsight, maybe you would have double tapped the Dart earlier, like Dart and a tight end earlier, or Shug and, whatever, Jawan Johnson maybe around earlier. But yeah, I mean, again, like I don't think I've ever seen all the starting quarterbacks go before round 18 ever. So you live and you learn. It was a good time. Tell the people before you go where they can find any, upcoming work or what you got on your plate. I think you were telling some of what you're doing with me and Silva last night. Yeah,
right now at Establish the Run, I just wrapped up all of our best ball content. So deep sleeper stacks, optimal positional allocation. If you're just curious, like you're going on DraftKings, you want to know like how we're handling it along with our rankings. That stuff is all on there. And then give it here a couple weeks. I'm also doing some season-long stuff. I've been in the streets of other sites like that are running season-long. DraftKings not doing season-long right now. So I've been paying attention to tiers and windows, and I'll have some write-ups on that kind of stuff too coming up. So just stay tuned to all that. Awesome. Well, appreciate you coming on here. And as a reminder to everyone, don't miss it on DraftKings. Draft one, get one offer. Enter a lineup in the $15 million best ball contest we just did. And I already used my ticket. So yes, everyone go use their ticket. Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's great. I mean, the more entries you can put in now and from now to the end of the season, I think you're in a fantastic spot. So
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I will be back next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, with another awesome guest. Thanks so much. For Daigle, I'm Connor. See you all later.